Welcome to the House of Legends podcast, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, founder and CEO of the House of Legends by Graciela, a mindset coach and mother of three beautiful kids. My mission and passion is to provide you with the tools that will allow you to unlock and bring out the best version of yourself, which is the key to all change. Some of those tools are mindset, identity work, and emotional mastery. Not only that, but I will also bring you powerful conversations with legends like you, showcasing their journey, life work, and allowing us to learn from their experiences and insights. So don't miss an episode. Tune in each week to the House of Legends podcast and let's unlock the power of your own legend. Let's dive in today's episode.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here and I just adore you. I'm like, we just had the best conversation before we hit record. I'm like, you are my soul tribe. And it's so incredible when we meet people like that, honestly. The work that I do, my goodness, I used to be a corporate lawyer. I was literally a corporate lawyer for 10 years. I made a decision when I was a teenager. I was like, I was going to work for the United Nations and save the world and change the world. And I ended up getting a job in banking and finance and property and worked my way up. And I got to this point where I'd achieved a lot of external success. But, to be honest, I didn't even know what a soul really was. I was like feeling empty, even though I had everything externally. And I really went through this. I think we can call it a spiritual awakening. I called it a nervous breakdown. Let's call it a spiritual awakening. And I'm 27.
Another name right now. We can name it like that.
Yeah. I was like, what is the purpose? What is the meaning behind all of this? Like, how can I have all of this stuff but be so unhappy internally, like empty? And I had a lot of anxiety. Like I'd always been an anxious person, but the anxiety was just growing and growing and growing and growing until it was like I felt like all this trauma just like spewed out of me, all this stuff that I'd repressed for so long. And then I started this huge healing journey and reading Louise L. Hay, How to Heal Your Life. And I had never even, like, it took me 7 goes to even read that book because I was like, you choose your parents. No, you don't. Like, that's how logical I was. And so, so fast forward to where I am, I'm like, so soulful, spiritual, have my altar, do my meditations, like speak to my guides. I'm a completely different person. And it happened because after I had my son, I was just like, what do I want? Yeah. Like, do I go back to law and do I go back to doing this and raising my son? And this maternal instinct had kicked in. And I'm like, there's another way. And I had no idea. So I literally sold my house, sold everything up in my life and was like, moved to acreage, started talking to the moon, learning manifestation. I was like growing veggies in the garden. Like I had a full 360 spin and then started the personal development world. And so this has been 7 years on the, well, let's say he was 1 when I really started this. So 6 years on this journey, 6.5. And now I literally, like, I'm barely in the logic. I'm illogical. I'm here for the soul growth. I'm here for the human behind the business. I mean, I help with strategy, but like my work is like your energetics, like energetic mastery and your mindset and actually seeing the human for the human. And it's like, this is my gift. This is my purpose. This is my meaning. This is my why. Because like I was just speaking to you about, like, there's not often that we can have a conversation with someone and in 5 minutes or 2 minutes, drop your guard and be like, this is who I am. Yeah. And meet people on that level. It is the most powerful, beautiful, incredible, hard work that you will ever do in your life, but it sets you freaking free. And there is nothing better than having this as a job. Like, honestly, it is so good.
Yes. And thank you so much for sharing. I think it's really beautiful to perceive the journey. But if now I'm just gonna let's take a few steps back, and I will let you know, because being 10 years in the law, incorporate in law, like you said, having the success, having the beautiful car, having the titles. And from the external, it looks like you have the beautiful, successful life. What are you talking about? That you don't feel happy, all right? So for you back then, you mentioned that, of course, that you've been feeling anxious and things that we don't see with the eye, right? We only can feel it ourselves. So it's no, people cannot perceive that, right? What was the tipping point for you to decide, you know what, I'm leaving behind this life? And I just kind of like, it was one of the major decisions in your life. Like, what was that point where you said, you know what, no more? I do have the money, but my soul is not willing to remain one day more in this life. What was that for you? What was that moment?
You know what? It's a bit of a traumatic experience. We just settled on this house. We moved in on New Year's Eve. I mean,
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, sorry. So, happy moments before Christmas. And I bought this a whole new kitchen setup, and I couldn't find the scissors, and I was rushing because I used to always rush. And I got this knife and tried to cut a cable tie, and it went straight through my finger. And so my finger was literally basically 80% off. And I was like, oh, it's just a little cut. It's fine. Didn't realize like the implications of this. Went to hospital and had to have surgery. And they're like, we need a full team. It's 3 months rehabilitation. And I'm like, it's just a finger. But I had a full-blown panic attack. And I also refused to go to sleep in the surgery. I was like, I want to stay awake for it. And I think this panic attack had made me think about death a lot. And I was like, what happens if I die? This is my last moment. Anyway, whatever drug they gave me, when I came out of my surgery, I was so happy. And I was like, obviously, it was a drug. I'm a very clean, I'm a very clean person. So I hadn't experienced drugs. I was like,
this feels like happiness. Like, what?
I'm like, if this is happiness, I am not happy. Like, if this is happy, I don't even know anywhere near this experience.
Yeah.
And so it became me searching for, you know what? I think it was an understanding that I'd built a life based on an external, like an internal wound. It had, I really was, my core drivers were to prove to my grandfather that I was somebody, to prove to my dad that I was lovable. Like, really, when I could just start to see it, I was like, I've created this life for everybody else. And so with that feeling of elated happiness, let's call it that. I was like that. Yeah. And I was like having to I was retail therapy person. Like I was like, I need to go and buy these designer things, like mid-level designers like Zimmerman and Sasson. I was like, I need to buy this because I work so hard. It's my reward. Yeah. And I kind of thought to myself, like, is that really the reward? And I'd had this friend who didn't have much money, but had this beautiful life where she was veggie patching and the chickens and living by the ocean. And she was always so happy and out surfing. And I was like, I work 12 hours a day. I have all these things. I've got, $10,000-$15,000 of bills to pay every month. Things were just, I was like, is this happiness? Like, is this it? And that's when I just was like, you know what? There was so much, it's not jealousy, but there was so much fondness of that other life, of where things could be simple. And also what was really driving me was this happiness and internal peace. I didn't have it. Didn't have it. I was like, well, how do we get that? How do I get that? Which is against what we're taught, right?
Yeah.
We're taught that external, but also when you're going really well in life, we had all the friends, we had all of those things, but as we started having trouble in one business and things were happening, a lot of the friends disappeared when things got hard. And it made me really question, like, is this real reality? Like, is this really what life is about? Like, where are the true friends that you can stand with no matter what happens in life? Like, it was just this pondering of literally everything that I thought was important and worthwhile. And let me tell you, going from a corporate lawyer and being able to say I was a senior lawyer and going, oh, I'm a mum now. Talk about an ego death. Like the projections. Why would you give up a career? You've spent so much money on doing this and you've worked so hard and all of this to raise your children. And like, it was just
another
lessons.
how you were able to navigate that and to sustain your decision? Because I don't know if you want to agree here. It's like when we made those major decisions, like even the people that we think that are the wanna be the ones more happy for us are the ones that are start questioning, and like you said, like you
Oh,
mentioned, there you put a lot of time and you did this and that. For me, one of the things that I did on my side when I was just ready, living my dental career and my body well, personal training career as well. I was just letting them know that this is what just one part of my life. This is just not a
mm,
chapter, right? And
mm,
them they were insisting about like you spend a lot of time and money and effort and practices and all that. I was like, I see myself as I'm in this, let's say, in this airplane. In the airplane is on fire. I do have the parachute. I'm just gonna jump, or I'm not
mm,
gonna remain just because I pay the ticket in full, right? It's like there's no way I
mm,
can jump.
mm.
For you, how you navigate that? Why?
Uh, I'd like to tell you it was incredible, but it wasn't. Like I was just like, how dare people question me? But I'm intelligent. I was a lawyer, and you're going to question me? Like I was
It's like
so
I know.
stunned
Yeah.
that people didn't believe in me, and
Mm,
people actually like there was because I've got quite a large family. There was a lot of projections of like, oh my God, has she gone stupid? Like, is baby
mm,
brain got to her? Like, and one of my highest values, ego values, which is why I became a lawyer, is I wanted people to see me as smart. Being
mm,
seen as smart and intelligent was so important for me. And, I shared with you earlier, I actually went into network marketing. You
yeah.
can imagine the former corporate lawyer moving into network
Oh
marketing.
my God.
It
Yeah.
was,
That
it
is
was
like what?
head shaking. Like people, even my own family were just like, oh, what
She
is she
looking at
like? Is she
like
having a midlife crisis? And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm
Oh
getting
God.
into manifestation, and I'm out in the garden, and I talk to the moon. Oh my God, like
It's like
it.
what?
I cried. Like I cried a lot. There was a lot of mourning, and there was a lot of me having to give myself permission to do what I wanted, because I think as well when we create this big, corporate career,
Yeah.
people like to be able to say my daughter is a corporate lawyer,
Oh yeah.
my sister is a corporate lawyer. People get more respect. I had a lot of respect when I was a corporate lawyer, and what I would do is people are like, what, who are you, like what do you do? I'd go, I'm Lauren, I'm a mom, I just have like I just started a little business. There was no respect. When
Yeah.
I used
Oh
to
my
say,
God.
oh
Yeah.
my,
It's
I'm a
like
corporate, they're like, oh my God, you're a lawyer, like can I ask you a question about my fence? I'm having a problem with a neighbor.
just like don't. It's like don't.
No, no, you can't. But it was just like, it was a totally different conversation. People behave differently around me.
Yeah.
Like if you say that you're a lawyer, people put their shoulders up and they speak to you differently. There was a lot of like the respect that I'd had externally
Mm.
dissipated. There was a lot of disapproving. I remember I went onto LinkedIn to change my profile.
Yeah.
People must have thought I was crazy. And I just was like, you know what? Like I'd gone out to the moon, right? And I'd manifested $26,000 in a week. Like,
Oh my
but it
goodness.
wasn't just like, yeah, it wasn't just like, money miraculously happened. I'd had a car for sale for 6 months. It
Yeah.
hadn't sold. And then I'd had all this stuff on eBay. There was $600 of stuff on eBay, nothing sold. And like, there was just so much money sitting out there, but nothing was happening. And I
Mm.
went out under the moon and I practiced this thing I saw from a book about having this rainbow light come through you. And like it was a crescent moon, and money would just come in. And literally, like, I am not kidding you. The next day, someone called me and said, oh, hey, like, I know this guy that knows that you have a kid at this play group. And he told me that you had this particular car for sale. I was wondering if I could buy it. And he's like, I've just settled on a house. I have the cash. I can put it into your bank account now. And I was like, don't you
Yeah.
want to come and see it? And he's like, no, I trust him. Like, is it working? And I was like, yes. And he's like, all right, well, can I buy it and I'll pick it up in 2 weeks? And I was like, you wouldn't believe this. I'd gone out under the moon. Like, he must have just
Like
been
this
like, what?
works.
And then I looked on my phone and I had all these eBay notifications that all my stuff had sold. And I
Mm.
was like it was magical. And that moment, I think my son would have been about 2. I was like, you know what? And then plus all of this other stuff started happening, like money kept coming in. I had my biggest month of my network marketing business. Like things were, and I was like in 1 week, and I'd only asked for 20,000 and I got 26,000. And I was like, you know what? I'm on the right path, because this shit, they don't teach this at law school. Like, what is this? And it helped me reaffirm my belief, you know? And then I was like, fuck everyone. They've just lost their dreams. Like, they're not going after something because society's told them no. And they're probably just feeling hurt right now that they can't say that their relative or their friend is this. And it's making them feel less. You know, my friend's going crazy, or like my daughter, I don't know what she's doing these days.
Right now, like, but I love this story that shows actually, and I think if we can just dissect it even more, like once you decide I'm no longer the lawyer, I'm this, you shift your identity by you doing what as the practices with that new identity, that new self-image is when you unlock and the magic, like you said, those cells selling.
Yes.
Because you were being that woman, you no longer were the title of the lawyer, that and the lawyer, of course, with the lawyer you were in alignment with certain people, situations, circumstances. But when you start being and doing those practices, and it's not about just the doing, it's deciding who you want to be, and then it's when you like everything just start to flow, and it's like, oh, and like you said, you were affirming your own belief. And I'm choosing myself. I mean, I don't care about the titles anymore, and I care about me, right?
Yes, 1,000%. And you know what? Another core driver was like my health had really, you know, shifted. Let's say shifted. I'd had high blood pressure after my son had preeclampsia. I had all of these stories, right? And
Wow.
I'd put on 30 kilos, which I think would be 60 pounds in America.
Yeah.
Like in you at the so like I had this skyrocketing blood pressure. They were telling me to go on this blood pressure medication and do all of this stuff. And this was like one of the pivotal parts in my shift. I'd actually started health coaching with IIN and really understanding health, because I'm like, that's not my story. This is not my story. Whereas externally, people are like, you need to take your medication. This is your story. You are stuck. And I'd started questioning all of this. I'm like, well, hang on. Would this have happened if it had not been for the hospital missing a few things? I started, you know what? It's taking responsibility for yourself. And I had spent my life blaming everything else around me. And, you know, this person's not a nice person, or this or whatever. And all of a sudden I was like, it's all me, and it's my perception of the world, and it's my perception of everybody. And if I want to shift and change my reality, I have to.
Change. Yeah. And I love if we can go a little bit deeper here, because you mentioned one part of the health. Sometimes, and we were having this conversation before recording to the podcast, we see all the titles, or we are starting a new business and we're like, this is the thing, I need to go all in. And yes, of course, there's parts of the business and that we need, they do require more attention. But when it comes to health, and I love the fact that you're like incorporating that, it's like I cannot show up in the best way if I don't take care of myself. And all it starts with the mindset. All it starts with, how do you see yourself? And just to go a little deeper, because like I was mentioning to you, we all see the beautiful pictures on Instagram, Facebook. We love that, right? But we don't see the things. Who's the woman behind the business, right? What are those challenges that people don't see it, and they don't have to see them? But when we get to share, people are like, oh, she went through that, and now she's like, I can do it, and like only inspire people, motivate. That is not my thing, and I think it's not your vibe. Well, it's actually evade them, and they're taking action, right? When you saw yourself in that situation or that circumstance, how you start to shifting aside of acknowledging that, taking full responsibility, start changing the story. Where were those first moves for you to changing your health or changing those habits?
Yeah. I think because I was again out in nature, and I shared with you now, like I'm currently like we're renovating a house and we're in the bush, we're near the beach, like there's a lot of nature. And so I believe that nature is so pivotal for us to go within and to see ourselves, because, you know, there isn't a distraction. you can't just walk outside your door and you're at a cafe and you're out doing stuff and buzzing with people. It's like, really, if you get into your thoughts, you're in your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
There isn't, you've got to be complacent. And I remember this time where I'd had a disagreement. I think it was with a family member or a friend or something had happened. And I was on the veranda and I was crying. And I'm like, I can't believe they did this to me. And I can't believe this happened. And then it was just, you know what? You actually like this feeling because you've done this feeling so many times before. This
Mm.
is actually your default. When things don't work out the way you want, you then go in, poor me. It's, why is everyone doing this to me? And it
Mm.
was this like, I don't know if you've read the book Existential Kink, but it was my own moment of realizing that I had this existential kink. Like I actually knew the feeling. And I was like, what if right now I could change it? What if
Oh,
right now that I could see that this is a human having their own experience? And like, I didn't really think like this, like that. It's not like we're now, like that's so ingrained in my mind. It's just a
yeah.
way I think. But I was just like, what if right at this moment you can see them as them expressing what they want to express? And you can right now choose happiness. Like you can choose to be okay with that. And you can choose for all versions of reality to currently exist. Like you can choose to experience everything right now. It just gets to exist. And I just remember I stopped crying and I was like, huh. And I actually then, like, I think that same week went to a naturopath and
Yeah.
I went in to obviously work on my health. And she said to me, she's, I want to stop you for a minute. And she's like, and she's at a drawing. And she said, in like 2 minutes, she's like, I know who you are. You put on a front that you've got your shit together, that you're a high achiever, you're a very good speaker, like you put on a great external show. But inside, you are broken. There is trauma. There is all this stuff happening within you. This isn't your story. And I was like, excuse me? Like, I was kind of,
What was that? Like,
what? And she's like, okay, this is your medicine. I want you to go home and I want you to create a 10-minute window every day. She goes, if I could, I'd send you out to a yoga retreat in the mountains for 3 months. She goes, but I want you to create a window, 10 minutes every day. I want you to make a herbal tea. And she made me this special tea. And I
yeah.
want you to go and cry and mourn and release.
Mm.
Because like I'd had, as I said, like with the health issues, I had so much inflammation in my body from
Mm.
all of these stories and all of them. It was myself creating this toxic environment in my body. And what I didn't understand at that time was like her creating this pocket or this window for me to go and cry 10 minutes every day
Mm.
actually led to my ultimate healing because it started to allow me just to see. It was just this penny drop moment of like, oh, maybe I get to control this.
Yeah.
Maybe I get to choose what's actually happening. And because I had slaughtered my health in law, like I had, as I said, I had debilitating anxiety. People would not see it on the outside. I could walk into a boardroom and negotiate $1 million contracts. Like, oh, I could put on a facade. But internally, it was nauseating hell, like
Mm.
panicking, stomach churning, like just absolute pure paralytic fear. And so accumulate that over 10 years, your body has a lot of stuff to release, like a lot. So again, it was all my mind and like the body, Joe Dispenza's work, your body, the emotions. And speaking with her, reading Louise L. Hay, all of these little
Where,
synchronicities of the universe, right?
yeah.
Started this turn within me to be like, right, yeah, this is me creating my reality. Like I'm
Yeah.
choosing
Love
all
that.
of this. My family, I chose this family for me to grow. And here I am projecting my shit onto them, blaming them. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Oh my God. Like
You know
the
what I
song right
mean?
there.
Yeah. And it was just this, I mean, it did not happen overnight. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to feel projected upon. It wasn't easy to feel like people didn't respect me. People didn't think, as I said, like that core desire to be seen as intelligent.
Mm.
That did not feel good. And I cried more, like I never cried growing up. Like I just made a promise to myself. I think I was about 8 that I
God.
refused to cry from emotions because I wanted to be tough. I wanted to be like the boys. And so
Mm.
it was this whole journey of like being
Really.
okay with
Yeah.
crying and people seeing me crying and people seeing me go through hard things. Like I didn't want to be seen as that. I wanted to be the strong one. you
Mm,
know, who was
yeah.
unwavering and unshakable. And that's the journey. Like it was just compounding lessons, right?
Mm,
And just these little drops, little drops. And that's when I started to go, you know what? It's not actually me controlling the show. I think I'm controlling the show, but it's God, source, universe. Like there is something so much bigger than myself at play here.
yeah.
Why have I not been taught this? Why? And no one, and you know what? And then sometimes we preach and sometimes we want to tell the world we found a new way and like your way of thinking isn't the right way. You're in the matrix and like there's a new way. And people are just like, oh my God, she's even more crazy. And you got to be okay with that because like you're
Um,
not for everybody.
yeah, and I love the fact, and you mentioned specifically like Louise Hay. I love her. Like she has a beautiful
Yes.
like gifts and videos, and she mentioned in one of her books, You Can Heal Yourself. I think it was that one that every single thing that and it's expressed in our body, even like if we have acne or is a pain or something, it's your body telling you something about what is you
Yes.
suppressing, right? Even in your
Yes.
the gums and everything. It's like, oh,
Mm.
shit, what is going on?
It's so
So
true.
we can literally start to understanding ourselves that we are creating that for one reason, for a
Mm.
strong payoff, or some like you mentioned, something that we already feel accustomed to do. And you mentioned as well, Joel Dispenza, and I think he put he put he put this so clearly that our our thoughts or create a reality. I mean, we have like we are calling everything in. By the way, we are the
Mm.
magnet. To simplify this,
Mm-hmm.
we are the magnets, but
Mm-hmm.
what that magnet contains. And when I love the fact that you said you recognize that, well, I'm gonna go here. And when that lady told you, you know what, you have 10 minutes and you can just do this. It was not even that healing, it was not even the tea, it was just like allowing yourself to release in years and years of, and sometimes it's anger or like I was anger or sadness or just make you cry or do your things, right? And it's like
Mm.
and it's years of those suppressed emotions that we have in our body that we can, like you said, we can put the mask and everything, but at the final of the day, we are the ones that are feeling that when we go to bed, when we take a shower. So
Yes.
this is a
Yes.
really deep work that sometimes people like, just give me that strategy. Like, it's not about the strategy, my friend. I was actually sharing with you, and when this is when it comes also to health, that every single day it works, every single thing works, but you have to be ready to receive as well. You mentioned something really amazing that when we now that we understand something or we came across a new information, we want to share with more people. Like that, people's like, you're losing it. What's going on, right? But but people are only they will receive only their when ready, and we have to understand that every single one of us we're in different paths. So
Mm.
we make peace with that. Lives become even more easy because you don't have to fix no one. I don't know if this
Yes.
happened to you that you overcome something, right? And like, and you see
Mm.
someone with the same thing. It's like, I want to help you. I want to just give you
Yes.
the
Yes.
their container is so small. There's no
Mm.
bad, but they're not able to receive it. It's too much. It's like going to the buffet and you're like, it's like starving for days. It's like going to the buffet. Even if you want to just eat it all, your stomach is so small, and it's the same thing.
Yes.
People are
Yes.
ready to receive, and it's like once you become aware of like that, is like I'm just gonna help the people with my teachings or the things that I've been going through on my own path, the people that are ready to receive, and just
Yes.
yeah, right.
And this is such a big thing and a huge pivotal thing in my journey. I was always the healer, you know, without realizing I was the healer. I
Yeah.
was like, you know, taking my cousin in when she was young and going through a really hard time. You know, this other one had gone through a lot of sexual abuse. I was like, I will take care. I will be the mother. I will be the nurturer. I will fix them. I
Yeah.
will
Oh,
fix them
yeah.
because I have the strength to fix them. Like most people don't have my level of strength, you know, and I will fix them. And I thought I was doing the right thing. And there
Mm.
became this moment when I think I was like 20, early 20s. It was all backfiring. Like my helping of everyone was like the destruction that was being brought in from people that I was taking care of was jeopardizing my own life. And I had to make a decision to walk away.
Mm.
And that was the hardest decision ever because of my absolute need or desire to heal. And so because I'd been going through this anxiety, I went and saw a cognitive behavioral therapist and a psychiatrist. And this was really interesting. When I went to the cognitive behavioral therapist, he was like, why are you trying to fix everybody? Like, what are you doing? I said, because they need my help. They are suffering, they are hurting themselves, they're suicidal, like someone's got to save them. And he's like, why does it have to be you? And I was like, because I love them. But he kept deepening and deepening and deepening in, because it was like, because I would be sad if they died. I would be sad. Guess what's about you? And I'm like, no, 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 no. It's about them. What are you avoiding? What are you avoiding within you? And I'm like, nothing. I'm fine. I'm fine. And he's like, oh, why are you in here to see me? I was like, well, I just have a few little anxious issues that I'm trying to tie up. And he made me look at things. And that's what he said. If you were God, and I, again, hadn't even started this journey, because if you were God and you had done everything and you had experienced everything and you had done everything right, what would you choose to do to learn and grow? And I was like, I wouldn't. I'd probably just go fishing. I don't know why I said that. And he was like, okay, I believe that if I was God and I had done everything, seen everything, experienced everything, the only way I was going to learn and grow is to choose to come back to earth and reincarnate as somebody and walk in their shoes and walk through their experiences and go through their challenges, because that is how my soul would evolve and my soul would grow. And I remember thinking, this guy is a quack. I was like, corporate lawyer. Where have I come? I thought you were some incredible psychologist that would help me with some weird anxious thing I don't understand. He said, every scientist, have a look. They spend 15 to 20 years and they realize that there's something so much bigger than us that cannot be proved through science. They turn to God, they turn to universe, they turn to source. And he had all the Louise L. Hay books and stuff in Eckhart Tolle and like all of that in his office. And I remember just being like, and then I went to the psychiatrist and I said to him, like, he had a mohawk and he was this Japanese man. He was like, just like, would look crazy on the outside. And he like trained, he was like, fitness fanatic. And my friend had teed it up. She's like, he's really alternative. You will love him. And anyway, when I went and saw him, I was like, I don't want to be medicated, because I don't want to, I need to solve the problem. I need to get to the root cause of what this is. And he was like, okay. See the clouds that are passing? He goes, are you judging them? And I was like, no, they're just clouds. He's like, you're judging your thoughts. You have Google on. You're finding the problems with everyone else around you, and you are avoiding this. You need to go in. And he's like, you're in the wrong career. You should be a travel writer. You should be a creative. You should be exploring the world and doing incredible things. You've been a hamster on a wheel your whole life. You've avoided you. I was like,
wow.
And he's like, and guess what? And I was like, I am crazy, aren't I? And he's like, you're not crazy. You just need to go and live your life. It's like, and again, his cupboard, Louise L. Hay, he made me join Buddhism meditation classes. I had to do the things I love doing as an 8-year-old and go swimming every single day at the ocean baths. Like the stuff that he gave me to do was like, again, it took me away from focusing on everyone else and fixing everyone. And I had to fix this, and I had to choose to heal me. And that was the most, for us, for those of us that want to fix everyone, it's because we need to be fixing ourselves. And then he was like, when you go in, you'll be able to lead, and then people will follow if they choose to follow. But your job's not to save everyone. It's not to rescue everyone that doesn't want to be rescued. And so that's why naturally, I mean, think about what coaching is. It's like that's exactly. And so now I get to lead. So I had to walk away from a lot of my life. And not walk away where I'm like, I'm cutting you out and I'll never speak to you again. I had to, for a moment I did, because I had to heal myself, because I couldn't handle the emotional stuff. I didn't have the strength. Whereas now, and it's taken years, I can walk back into a toxic environment and not make it mean one thing about me, but see that as a soul having a human experience that they chose, and showing up with love and compassion and heart, but knowing that it's not my job to rescue. It's my job to be the light.
This is so deep, and I think you mentioned it is.
This is how I work. Yes,
really deep, because especially us as coaches, mentors, we want to help people. We want to I want to help you, but if we are projecting that energy, or like I need to fix, I need to like, we're attracting, even first of all, we're attracting the wrong clients. So the people that are not ready even to receive.
Yes.
And we are depleting ourselves. And when we acknowledge, like you did, like, hey, this is about me, that the things that I need to shift, those are around me. And when you start to shift in that and understand that, yeah, I'm a healer, I'm here to serve, but I'm doing it from the healthy perspective, where it's not about me. It's not even about me. Nothing is about me. It's when you start attracting also the clients. For me, I always been a teacher. So it was like I was trying to teach you all the things. And like I said, teaching people that were not ready to receive. And I was just like, what I'm doing right. And you mentioned this specific thing as well about the we came here with different to learn different things, right? And I was questioning this as well, like if I'm a teacher, if I'm here to teach. And I answer my own question. It's like, if I here to, of course I did went through all the journeys, all the experiences, because I cannot teach from with words. I can only teach with my life experience. And this
Yes.
in diary, we were talking about in diary before we press record. This guy asked Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you are familiar with Abraham Hicks'
Of
teaching,
course.
right?
Yes.
He said they were having a like a live, and I think it's in YouTube as well. Like they were saying, like, he was saying why I did have to go through all those things, like growing up with a absent father and an alcoholic father, why I was left in this I think it was like, you know, orphaned for a couple of years, and then the mom came back for them, right? And it's like, why did you have to go through those things? It's like, well, you came here because you were a teacher, and if you are a teacher, how you gonna teach others if you haven't lived those experiences? And most of the people that you're gonna teach are not born in this beautiful nest. They're and if you want to teach resilience, if you want to teach how to hold certain things, you have to go through all those things. And like, oh, that was a moment of illumination. And he said everything started to change when I went back to my when it was back to the cemetery, when his dad was there, and he's like, I was just trying to like ask him, why do you say that? And I was speaking to just to the image right there, right? And she said, Abraham Hicks replied, and it's like, well, when you forgive him, actually was when you release the anger, the like the why you did this to me, is when actually you release that, and you have the energetic space to receive all the years. That's why your book was like little like a it was blooming in 1 week. That's why you got all the beautiful ideas and all those things. So every single experience is serving us to be the woman that we are right now. Without those experiences, let me tell you, even if we have all the preparation in the world, we're not going to track, we're not going to vibrate in that frequency that is necessary to be, right?
1,000%. And I just love this story because, like, this was a real awakening moment for me. Despite all of the situations and all of the things that you may have gone through as a child, whether your parents were active parents, not active parents, the trauma, everything, if you had not had that experience, if you had not been gifted them as your parent or your family members or whatever, you would not be who you are today. You cannot exist as who you are if you have not experienced exactly what you have experienced at this very moment. And it's like, it shifts everything around. Like, what if the blame and the shame and all of that I have projected onto this person for not meeting my needs and for not being enough for what I expected them to be, and actually saw them as a human doing the best that they could with what they knew and with their own traumas, most of them probably unhealed, and saw them as like that little child that also wanted to be loved. Like in Louise L. Hay, you know, imagine your child like with the train, like a parent healing. Yeah. And like, and put them in your pocket. And I remember just being like, you know, sitting with my dad, just seeing him as a little boy and just being like, all of this stuff that I've put on him and all of this stuff that I've expected, he was the perfect man for me. Because I am who I am because of this gift. And it's like the Ho'oponopono, like I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. We liberate ourselves by
Yeah.
seeing the gift in whether it's good or bad. And even if you've had to move away from toxic family members, if you've had to sort of step back, it's still a gift because you can see them with love. Because if you sit there and hate and rage and you did this and you did that, that's just living in your body. It's not
Yeah.
affecting them, it's affecting you. You're traumatizing yourself.
Mm.
It's the most beautiful gift just to like, I'm a 3-5 MG. Like my job is the life. People who have clients, there is not a story that I cannot resonate with. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I feel you. Yes, yes, yes. And they're like, how do you know everything? I'm like, I don't know everything. I've just experienced a
So
lot
many
in
things.
my life
Yeah.
and I'm able to resonate. If I couldn't, I'm just selling you a, the top
Information.
layer. I'm just, yeah, like I can go deep. And this is where true growth happens because when you see that someone's embodied in their growth and their expansion, mm, like it's
Thanks.
next level.
Yeah. And you mentioned one amazing practice, the Ho'oponopono prayer, like I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And the fifth one, he actually released another phrase and is I forgives. I know it sounds a little bad, but I forgives myself because you are forgiving yourself. I forgives myself. That is the fifth phrase. And when we do that, it's
Mm,
like you're releasing everything. You're asking for forgiveness, and sometimes it's really hard for
mm.
them. Like, no, they did right. They deserve. How in the heaven I'm gonna think good about them? They don't deserve your good thoughts, but you deserve a good thoughts about them. That's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And like honestly, well,
Go
this
ahead.
is something that I did my blood pressure the other day,
Yeah.
the blood pressure story that I shared. It was crazy. Like I had crazy blood pressure. Like I remember after I'd given birth, they were like, she could die. Like I heard it in the hallway and I was like, ah! Without medication, healing myself, working on my shit, taking my own responsibility, and I'm not giving anyone medical advice. I
Oh,
literally checked it the other day and it was 109/74. Now my base number used to be about 120 plus.
oh
And I
my.
looked at that and I was just like, how incredible. Also, I wake up fulfilled,
Mm,
peaceful. Anxiety may happen once every 3 or 4 months. Like maybe it's during like about to get my period. I'll have like a little, you know,
shit.
day,
Yeah.
but it's very rare. And this is the internal world. And it doesn't matter how much incredible stuff we have on the outside. If it's hell to live in your body, if your nervous system is completely deregulated, if you're freaking out, if you're in fear, if you're depressed, anxious, that's no way to live. Like, to
Mm,
me, that's the gold because I did this actually in my last podcast episode. It's like we can create all of this external success, but if we get to the top of the mountain and we put our flag in and our internal world is shit and we've built this whole empire based on wound, it's nothing. It means nothing. It's never good enough because really you've built it to prove your worth, to prove you're enough, to prove you're lovable without actually going, I am that. I already am all of that. When we build a business that's based on the soul and the human behind the things, and we work on our human and we allow God, universe, source to like work with us for what our gift is, what our mission is, we heal the human and we simultaneously move because you can get stuck in healing. Like I heal and move, heal and move, heal
yeah.
and move.
Yeah.
We get to the top. Yeah, we get to the top and realize that the journey, that was the best part. And the destination's just the icing on the cake. And we can be like, thank you, God, source, universe, more please. Like it's a totally different build because we're becoming that human that if everything was stripped away from us, we still have everything.
Yeah.
And
You can feel
externally we
it.
can rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the other person who may have built on strategy and built on external, if that was taken away from them, who are they? They are nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's the most beautiful gift, and it can seem hard, especially if you've been logical. But if your inner world doesn't feel beautiful and magical and inspiring and allows you to be magnetic in the world, like there is so much space for you to actually have that, to be a woman in her full spectrum feminine and to like feel free and loving and open-hearted in a world that makes you want to freaking harden.
Mm,
Like
mm,
this
mm.
world can be tough and it can be hard, and we are in the planet of duality. But if we
Yeah.
open that and
Mm,
soften and see love and choose love, liberating.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's priceless. To me, that's the true work.
Yeah, and that is it. And that is one of the most beautiful gifts that we can give to ourselves because and I
Mm.
love the fact that you remark a lot about also our health because it's all correlated. If we don't
Mm.
take care of the vessel, we can build everything around and it could look beautiful and all those things. But who's the woman, the inside? Who's the woman? And we were sharing on our conversation before that. Uh, and especially of us as a woman, we have so many stories about like our bodies or about how we look or about those things. And one of the things that I was sharing with,
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of the things that are coming from experience, and not many people know this, but I would love to remark it because it's essential to understand. I didn't born in this way, and I was sharing with you that I was raising 90 pounds in 7 months because I decided to be that woman and forget all the stories that I was keeping telling to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, of course,
Mm-hmm.
work and action and all that, but all start with loving myself and deciding, you know what, this is who I am, and I'm not accepting other things, and not because I was attaching to certain thing, because I was just seeing myself as who I truly am, like
Mm-hmm.
no more late.
Mm.
And I was
The
just
being then the doing. The
yeah,
being then the
being and
doing
doing,
versus the
and
doing.
yeah, and you mentioned as well that when we are healing, when we're integrating, either it could be something in health or business, is integrated and do it. Integrate is just action as well. It's just not remain on the healing, remain on the strategy, and
Yeah.
not take action later. No, it works. It's like a beautiful dance, and that is
Yeah.
precious.
And
Yeah,
momentum creates momentum. And also it's so easy. Like if fear is your, like gosh, fear has been my biggest thing to climb over. Like, as I said, I used to walk into boardrooms and do all of that, but I was
yeah.
always scared. I was
Mhm.
always terrified. And I just like, and then once you've done it and you've done it again and again, and I was afraid of public speaking. You would never have caught me doing an unrehearsed speech. And now I just like riff and channel on podcasts and like I don't plan for anything. I trust myself, right?
Yeah.
This is like, this is like you're going to feel the fear, but you do it anyway.
Do it
And then
anyway.
you
Yeah.
grow and you like an athlete. You're an athlete in your mind, you're an athlete in your spirit. Like we've got to consistently train ourselves. And like if you've read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, like talks about like all the fear, all of the limiting beliefs, all the stories. It's like the devil. And then we choose love and we get to choose God's work and to choose to listen to our higher self, which is not freaking emotionally charged, right? She's like, hey girl, you got this, versus the ego, like this could happen, and what happens if, and what happens if, no, you need to do this make people like you, because we have this instinctual, people will like me if I'm insert, like the stories and the stuff that we have on replay in our minds will dictate our future. And there's no one coming to save us, there's no one coming to rescue us. We get to choose, like, you know what, I'm going to rewrite this experience, like the gym, like I'm going to choose to work on myself and to show up as her and
That's
be
right.
her now and then
Yeah.
do the things.
And I would love to have your perspective about mentorship as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about mentorship, like let's say as an entrepreneur, and this can apply for everything in every single field. We do have when you decide to do something, when you decide to go for a new life, let's say, or new rewrite your story, you have to understand that what you have to ask yourself, what are the help, the support that I do require? And it's not only one person. I think sometimes we so much pressure. It's like, I'm just gonna pay 5K, 10K, 20K to this mindset, to this business coach. She has to give me
Yeah.
her soul, you know what I mean? It has to work. It's like, come
Yeah.
on, chill out. And one of the things that I did is
Yeah.
like, what I do require, okay, another mindset. Even if I'm a mindset coach, okay, I'm mindset. Someone that is it's even
Mm-hmm.
one step ahead of me. Like she knows the thing, right? She can help me to see the blind spots, to little tweaks here and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a healer, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
trainer. So what do you think about mentorship and coaching when it comes to this
So like
learning?
I've shared with you,
We cannot do it alone, even if we have
yeah.
the books or the rituals, those are essential, but we cannot do it alone. And you mentioned something really amazing.
No,
In 5 minutes, the right person, the right tribe can shift you all the things in 5 minutes. I'm telling you.
1,000%, 1,000%. So I have always very happily invested a lot of money into my coaching and mentorship. Like, again, outsiders in the normal world are like, you are crazy. Like, that's a mortgage payment. You could have done this. Like, I've spent hundreds of thousands on my growth. And really, like, I actually, so in December, I've shared with you that I kind of burn everything down. My soul was like, it's time to reassess everything. Like, what are we building for? Because I realized a lot of the stuff I was building was based on ego again. And I'd gone into a state of like, I needed to prove my success. I needed to hit this monthly revenue goal. And if I didn't hit it, then I was failure, like all of this stuff. And, I also, I had like a coach for my body, like a body transformation coach who was also like a bikini bodybuilder. I had, like a breathwork coach. I had healers. I had masterminds, and I really stopped everything. And I thought, I need a moment to actually be like, who am I? And what do I want to support it without all the noise? Because what I found myself doing was I'd made my life so full that I was just doing, I was like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Rather than being like, where am I being guided? And through this little revelation, the first time me not necessarily, I've got a couple of like saying that when I say not working with anyone, I still have two because I work. But it's like, I've gone, wow, you know what makes me move? Skin in the goddamn game. When I'm in a mastermind, when I'm with a coach that's an expander, that's someone who has what I desire, and it's not always freaking money related. I want someone who's a whole human. That's like, I see you, I feel you, I resonate with you on a soul level. Yeah. And it expands me and it activates me and reminds me of what I'm capable of. And if, like I shared with you earlier, like if you're in a smaller, like I'm in a regional area, right? When I was in corporate, I was always working in the big cities. And now I'm in a regional area. It's like, you're not going to just bump into these incredible people that are building empires and doing all the stuff and are deep soul healers. And they're like, I've just been to a retreat in Costa Rica. Like, you're not going to see them in the everyday. And so if I don't see that, I can kind of shrink a little bit. Not that I mean to, but if I let go of my daily practices, which I'm very disciplined in, but if there's like a season, maybe it's a few weeks, I notice myself like I can loop back into old patterns. And so for me, being in a space where I have an expander, a coach, a mentor who calls me higher, but also sees me, like lovingly calls me out on my bullshit, but is also like, I will use compassion. I will feel you. I understand you. Let's shift. I skyrocket. Yeah. And like, you're going to make mistakes. Like when I started investing in coaching and mentorship, I invested in the strategies. Oh my goodness. I invested in people selling me the aspirational identity. I invested in people being like, oh my God, look at my incredible car and my house and my 2.5 perfect children and my beautiful hair. I was like, oh my God, they've got it together. My house is a mess. That's what I need. Like, I should clean my car and get it immaculately detailed. Like, I shouldn't have kids in here. No one should breathe in my car. Like, I was like, that's what I'm buying. And let me tell you, after spending a lot of money in those places, I would come out no better off because it was the same limiting beliefs, the same stories, the same visibility issues, the same fear of being seen, like that subconsciously I didn't understand. Right. And so you can do all the strategies that a person tells you to do. But if you're not embodied, if you're not embodied, if you do not know who you are, it means jack shit. Like it means you get on a camera and you'll quiver. You'll be like, oh, hi. You don't know what to say because you don't know who you are. And so then I was like getting myself into more like, that's what I started transformational breath work. Like it's like a more psychedelic experience. I started doing different kinds of work to meet myself and to find myself and putting myself into places where women did the same things and weren't afraid to be the truth of who they are. And I was like, wow, okay, I actually know all the strategy. I know how to do all of that. I'm not getting the results that I want because I'm afraid of this shit. Like this shit's hard. But that's where I needed to grow. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's now where I am. It's not about the external. It's about who you be. Like I said to you before, like who you be when I strip everything away from you. Who are you as a soul? And I will literally shut up and take my money, pay someone based on a feeling that I energetically have with a person within about 2 minutes.
Yeah. And
because I'm like, you get me. That's
mm,
it.
yeah. Oh my God, you mentioned a lot of nuggets right there. People, and I mean, we're not new in the game. We're being like you mentioned, like investing here and there, and sometimes some investments didn't work out in the way that
Yeah.
we thought that we were supposed to be, right? And I mentioned to you, like, we're always winning in one way or another, even if it was the
Oh,
crappy people
1,000%.
were winning, right?
Incredible.
But right now, and I'm so aligned in this way that when I'm entering to new container, a new mastermind, a new or a private mentorship, whatever, I don't see them. Oh, I don't even like stalk her. What are they driving? How many kids? How many apps? Whatever. I don't give a shit. I can feel it. It's like how do you embody what?
Yes.
If, at least in one area, she don't have to have the shell all
Yeah.
together, but she has at least
Yeah.
in one area what I want, and I can feel that she embodied that shit. Like I
Yeah.
want that. That's
Yeah.
it. You don't have to convince me.
You can't lie it.
You don't have to prove
Yes.
me. You know, I can feel it.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yes,
fucking feel it.
you
Like,
cannot lie that embodiment. Like
yeah.
it's truth. It's like the essence of my soul. This is who I am. And that's why we do the work. Like if you start maturing in terms of how you're investing, and you're not just investing in the quick shortcuts, and people are going to sell you what you think you want, and hopefully have the balls to give you what you need inside, because what you actually need is a very different medicine to what you think it is that you want. And as you start growing and maturing in terms of your investing, you'll just feel like you'll be like, this person and me, we get each other.
Oh
That's
God.
it.
Yeah.
Like and there's never a bad investment. Like every dollar that I have spent is being perfect because I've learned something from it.
Mm.
Like even the quote bad investments in my business where I'm like, oh my God, so much shame. I shouldn't have freaking done that, you idiot. How did you get sold into that? It's again a shadow that it's brought up for me. And I've been able to see something in a different light where my ego was like, you're not enough. You're not going to ever be like this person. So if I buy that, then maybe I can have this.
Mm.
And it's
Yeah.
like, no, actually, it's not how it works.
Actually, everything is just perfect. And even when you mentioned about like how come you enter into that thing, it's like it was part of my growth. It was part of the journey.
Yes. Yeah.
But it was just
Yeah.
another experience, just another shot. And thinking about investment, thinking about like, oh, but I'm gonna invest, I'm gonna give her fuck. I'm not giving her. Actually, I'm investing in something that I'm gonna grow into. I'm not gonna get something. I'm gonna step into that, and I'm gonna develop. I'm
Mm,
gonna something that is inside me. She's not gonna give me shit. Actually, she has
mm,
activates that thing, and once it's activated,
yes.
it's
Yeah.
mine. I don't, it's mine. Even if that costs me whatever amount, it's mine. And from
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
I embody that quality that I didn't even knew that was active. That's it. And when we start
Yeah.
seeing it that way, we start attracting people in that way as well. Because if we're seeing like just an expense and this not, it's like we are attracting people that they want. It's like you sound so cute. You're like,
Yeah.
what? Even
No.
if I'm so cute, don't comment that shit. Like that doesn't serve me. And sometimes I'm so direct, and I can be so kind, like so nice. People like you're so cute. Like
Yes.
I'm direct as well. I'm gonna tell you because I do have people that are really balanced that they can be so sweet with me, but when they see something, they don't have filter. They don't have something in their mouth that they're telling me, and sometimes it feels like icky and bad. But I now
Mm,
I take a higher a higher view. It's like, oh yeah, that's true. Shit, all right, shifted. And
yes.
shift is
Yes.
like, oh, thanks. And we have this beautiful relationship where there's no like I have to be so soft and just creating everything that I'm
Yes.
saying, or like I have to be an asshole. I have to
Be
tell you,
liked by everybody.
right? It's a beautiful
Yes.
balance. And when you
Yes.
find that tribe, it's like oh, good. And it's not like it's
Yeah.
like something like that, right?
Yeah. And so much of my money, like, a lot of people, I think they go, I don't have the money. People have the money, right? We can always find the money. Money is
Don't guard
literally
commitment.
everywhere. Right? I have sold a couch to get money to get into something. Like I will go without a couch because I've got two. I don't need that one. I'm going to travel over to this location and do this thing. Like there has been moments, especially in the beginning of business, where you're like, I don't know if this is going to take me to another level. I don't know if this is going to work. And then I'm just like, no, my intuition says yes. So we'll just figure it out and we just do something and we just make it work. And like, I have gone into even like multi-figure things where I just didn't have the money. And I was like, but my body and my mind's like, yes. And then boom, I sign up and then boom, I get a pay in full client. And I'm like, it's like, because you're trusting the intuitive nudge, right? And then also what I really want to kind of bring this up, those moments where I remember the first time in my business, I created a $20,000 cash week. $20,000 cash week. I'd never experienced $20,000 cash in a month in this business. It came from me going through an initiation first, which was fucking hell. I went for like a week and a half. I felt like I was walking on a tightrope. And then all of a sudden I was in this space of just pure intuitive guidance. Like, this is what I need to do. Trust this, do this, move this. I was in this energy of like, it's already done. I was bathing in dream clients. I was bathing in everything. And my belief was just unwavering. And then boom, 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 boom. Everything aligned in a matter of days. I couldn't have even fathomed this. And this is like, that honestly helped solidify my beliefs with everything I was doing. I was like, because I've put myself into the arena, because I've trusted myself, I've done the thing that I've been intuitively guided to do. Now I get the universe coming back in. And my job is to maintain my energetic alignment, to remember who I am, to focus on my being, not my freaking doing. Because let me tell you, I wasn't doing crazy things. I was soft and feminine and just being like in my creative essence, listening to music, dancing, allowing things to come in. Everything felt pleasurable. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the receiving more, like Abraham Hicks says, like,
exactly.
It's not your job how it's gonna come, where those clients are gonna come, where's the money's gonna lie.
Miracles happen.
Receiving mode, like it's already yours. It's like, how? Like the first thought is how, right? But
it's illogical. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and when we have those experiences, and I really love the fact that you have a lot of experiences, like when you sold that car, when those sales on eBay came, this as well, like
yes,
flowing, and it's like, I do have so much proof that this works. Like, I have just trust
yes.
And when we invest, I see it this way. When we invest or when we do a new move in our business, it's like we flip the frequency. That's it. And that frequency contains new thoughts, new ideas, new clients that are always in the field.
Yes.
Now we're calling them because it's like a fucking match. We're not like, you know what, like half and half.
Yeah.
That is just so much.
You're not doubting yourself in those places. You're like fully believing. It's a whole different energy. And like, I would never have believed in any of this stuff if I'd stayed as a corporate lawyer. Like, I was systematic, logical. What's the tactical way to get out of things? There is no emotions in law. Like, you are taught to literally be emotionless. You can't go into a meeting, oh my God, this is so horrible. I can't believe this has happened. You're like, I'm the logic. Like, to retrain yourself from the illogic. Like, I always say that. I'm like, I need more praise because I was so goddamn logical. And to move into a space of surrender and beauty and like embodied in your body, like tapped in, turned on to life. Like, you can, with this pleasure state, you can like go in and like sit under them. I've got a mango tree. I can go and look under the mango tree and feel the same level of joy and elation in life as I do from having a $50,000 cash drop in my bank account. Like, it's all the same. Like, even this morning before we did our call, because it was earlier here, I went outside and like stood in the dew because I read on one of my oracle cards, it was like, if you go stand in the morning dew, it's actually really incredible energetic cleanse for your body. And I was just like, oh my God, look at the moon, you can hear birds, and like pure pleasure just like runs through your body. Like, that's how we can choose to invest. That's how we can choose to see money. That's how we can choose to do anything in our life. You know?
Yeah,
it's so powerful.
Yeah, and we
so
only
powerful.
Yeah, and now that we look back, I this phrase is coming now. It's the one that Steve Jobs says, we cannot connect the dots looking forward, we only connect the dots looking backwards. And now you can see like, oh yeah, I can feel I need to be like even more proud of myself because all the work, 7 years, like, or even more. I mean, if you count the ones on corporate, it's like, wow, what a journey. But it's I've been doing it. And the woman that I have become and I still becoming is a huge, powerful woman. And I need to be proud of it. I must be proud of who I am and own it. Not coming from a place ego or like I'm better than others. Like, no, I recognize my gifts. And to
Hmm.
our podcast, Lauren, I would love to ask you, what is your superpower?
My intuitive gifts with people. Like I can feel people, I can feel their energy. I actually, when I had my spiritual awakening, I remember walking down the beach one time and like obviously I was deep in this portal of like initiation, but I could feel like I felt like I could feel everybody's thoughts and everyone's feelings and see everyone's mask, and it terrified me. I was like, what is this? This is not, am I
What is
losing it?
in the
but
air?
but I like that naturopath I spoke about at the beginning. You know, someone can walk into a room and I know exactly the medicine that they need. You know, I can shift them, and I will hold a person to a higher standard, and I know who their higher self is. You know, and I can hold them to that, and like be able to feel them and to empathize with them and to be compassionate, but also to move them into a higher perspective, because I know that dream chose them and I know that they have everything that it takes. And sometimes we just need people to believe in us more than we believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember someone once saying, it was a random person in a car, was like, Lauren, I believe in you. And I was like, and I nearly cried. And, like, I was like, oh my God, right. Well, if he believes in me, I can believe in me, you know? It's like, it's the most powerful gift to just have someone to be able to see you in that space versus most people in our everyday world, you know, they don't see us as that. They see what they see on an everyday perspective. And just to have, I wouldn't say it's a cheerleader, but it's like just having someone just, you know, call you higher, because that's actually who you are. That's my gift.
I love, I think you're combining two gifts, the intuitive one and the one that is holding the person in the higher version.
Yeah.
We have that in common, higher, holding the person in the higher expression, because when you see them in that place, you don't see limitations. You don't see like, oh, you know what, you don't have the money, or you know what, no, it's gonna take you time.
Mm-hmm.
See them like, hey, no, it's time to act. You can do it. I believe in you, and they
Mm-hmm.
borrow that belief. Like if they borrow it in one way or another, you can um not push them and not like being in this mother toxic energy, but
No.
they actually calibrate with your energy, like, and they're like acting,
Yeah.
moving, right? I think that is a huge gift that we can give to others, right?
Yes, absolutely. A new
And
way of healing. Helping, serving.
thank you so much, Lauren. It was really like, wow, a pleasure here. But before we close this, if you can share where I'm gonna put even your details either above or below this video, but and also on the podcast description. But if you can share with us what are the ways that we can work together, your website, where we can find you.
Yes. So as I mentioned, I kind of like burnt everything to the ground in December and was like, what do I actually want? And I'd built my business on manifestation and energetics. So I had this program, Manifest Your Higher Self. And I really felt like I'd outgrown a lot of this old version of me. And I wanted to transition into something, the deep work, but also make it lighter, because energetically, I feel like when you're a coach, it sometimes can be a lot as we move through lots of heavy stuff with our clients. And I was like, what if there was a gentler way? What if there was an easier way to do things? And so where I am now in my business is I work with clients one-on-one with private coaching. There's 3, 6, and 12-month containers. That is like where we are all in on everything, like relationships, life. Like I'm your person and I will support you and do practical stuff, not just energetics and mindset, but I'm like, I love helping out with websites and photo shoots and branding and copy. Like I love all of that too. But we work, you know, on that human behind the scenes as well. So we're integrating everything, and it's a space of deep communication, openness, trust. Like I want you to come out of this and also be able to know who you are and communicate your needs and desires with the world around you, not dulling yourself, muting yourself, like to come out and be like, I know who I am. I can do incredible things. So I have that. I have a mastermind that I will be releasing. Well, I'm working currently on the stories. I love a mastermind, and I have a new one. I'm toying with I'm just letting the names really drop in, but this one's going to be a beautiful 6-month container. And then I have some new courses and programs, which I'm actually really excited about. And they're something different. later on down the track, there's going to be energetics and mindset programs and all of those things. But my first one is called Realigned. I was like, hang on, I had 15,000 names chosen. Realigned. And this is about like grassroots coming back to the basics of your life. Who are you on a soul level? What are your desires? You know, what are your standards? What are your boundaries? Who is the identity that you're creating? And then how do we actually cultivate that life on a daily level? Like releasing all the energetic shit that's clogging up our auric field and being like, how can I curate a life where I'm not constantly on juggling the kids, juggling the business, doing all of that? You know, managing your house, managing your life. Oh my God, my wardrobe. Oh, I haven't cleaned this clutter in the corner. Like cleaning it all out. Yeah. And like the practical of having it in your calendar. Like I have beautiful reminders, routine, discipline, focus. I'm like, this is grassroots stuff, but it will completely shift and pivot your entire life. So I'm just creating all the stories for that at the moment. I'm so excited for that. And then an elevated business ascension program, which is teaching you how to build a business based on your soul, based on the God source, universe guidance, and then building the whole human behind the scenes. So that's where I'm focusing things on now. I'm using simple names so that my little MG self isn't like, oh my God, I hate this name. And now I don't want to share it. And now I can't get my energy behind it because I don't like the name. I'm like, I'm just making it more fun. And I am going to sell you what you think you want, but I am going to give you the medicine that you actually need behind the scenes.
Oh, I love that.
It will change your life. And like, you know, if I come out deep, as you can see, I'm a pretty deep person. If I come out that, people are like, get away from me. Like, it's too much. But like, I'm simplifying it and making the process so much gentler. Yeah. Because I think, especially in healing work and energetic mastery, we can go very deep and it can be very intense for your nervous system. But I believe through my experimentation, there can be a different way, you know, a different way to move through this, not bypass, but to move through this in a gentler way that can actually hold you and again, simultaneously heal and move. So yeah, there's where I'm at, and I feel so lit up by it. Like I'm so excited.
That sounds so beautiful, and yeah, I can tell the energy of the manifestor generator here. Like a lot of like so and options. I love options. Like, for me, it's like wow, oh my gosh, I wish to have that. I'm like, well, I do have just a few options, less options, but it's like it's my energy, it's who I am. But I love the fact that you are on like I'm a manifestor. I am multifaceted. I love this. I love that. And you're taking the time even to choose the name because it has to be like really like this energy that is pulling you. And you're
I'm intentional. Intentional is one of my words for the year. Overflow and intentional.
Yeah, that's amazing. It was such pleasure to have you here. The conversation is just like, this is like you said, this is the vibe. This is the kind of conversation that we you know, like where we don't have to like you said, I don't know, like water down or like being more like explain more this more like no how it is, and I'm just if
bring all of us
yes thank you so much.
Authenticity. My pleasure.
Bye. All you listeners, thank you so much for joining us, and see you in the next. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence is greatly appreciated, and it truly means a lot to me. If you could support us by leaving a 5-star review, it will help us to connect with more extraordinary and influential women like you. With that being said, thanks once again, and let's look forward to an amazing and legendary week ahead.